This is an Eye on Annapolis bonus podcast.
Well, I'll tell you, today we are joined by Richard Karn, who is best known as Al Borland from 8 seasons on Home Improvement, plus a long run as a TV game show host and pretty much all-around familiar face. He's coming to Annapolis for the Home Owners Expo on February 21st. And yes, there is a very on-brand perk. If you wear flannel, your admission is free. Richard, it's so nice to talk again. I think it was back in 2018 the last time that we chatted.
Wow. You know, anything before 2020, it's really hard to remember.
You know, you're absolutely right. I mean, COVID has just messed with the calendar of the mind.
And half the country won't even admit it's COVID.
True. Well, you are appearing at the Homeowners Expo in Annapolis on February 21st. That's Saturday, and the show does run the 21st and 22nd. What can we expect when you come into Annapolis again?
Well, you know, it's a pretty cool show. Scott, who puts this together, you know, has great people there. And I love walking around these shows and seeing all the things that I might do to my house.
Well, I'll tell you, you probably do a ton of these events. And I mean, your character was iconic, was a huge part of much of boomers' lives. I count that as included. But you said you like this show. What makes a great show versus one that's just meh for you?
I think it's the vendors. You know, the vendors that are there and they're excited to be there, or they're not excited to be there, or they're sitting there on their phones or whatever and not engaging with the people going around.
Well, I mean, you talked about the different vendors that are there as well as the people and everything else. When you walk around the room, I mean, who do you connect with most when you get in there? I mean, do you dig talking with the vendors and finding out, as you mentioned, some of the stuff that you want to do in your home? Or is it more just sort of people watching? I mean, I love people watching.
Yeah, I'm a people watcher, and you know, I'm gregarious. I like talking with people and that, and you know, because of home improvement, because of years and years in this business, it's like I live in a small town, so people know me. I don't necessarily know them, but people just come up and say hello. And you know, lately, it's not about me anymore. It's about them having grown up watching the show with their grandparents, with their parents, with their brothers and sisters. And it's a very kind of, fond, good memory of their childhood.
Is that cool for you?
I think it's very cool. I'm glad that I can be a part of that. Yeah. And the boys are now 42, so they're grown men. And we won't even talk about how old I am, but, I'm still here, still playing golf, still going out, still talking to people.
That puts like a dagger in my heart telling me that those little boys are 40.
For 30 years, I never watched the show again. I watched the show at the beginning, the couple of months after we had done them. And there was so much stuff in my head going on from the filming of it, or, what got erased or what got edited. Now I'm getting to watch the show from a totally different perspective, and I'm laughing. There are actually scenes that I'm in that I forgot. I don't even know what I'm going to say next, but that's me talking. So I know I did it. It's just, it's really fun to watch it again.
On Home Improvement, I mean, Tim was the dolt of the group, okay? And Al Borland, I mean, he was the guy that always knew what the hell was up. Is Richard Karn as resourceful in real life as Al Borland was?
Yeah, I think he is. I think I am. And I will do, projects around my house. Some things I won't attempt, but there are other things that I go, yeah, okay, let's do that. And I get into it and I do it, and I feel very, proud of myself. There's a nice feeling of accomplishment when you do, tasks and fix things around the house. My dad was a builder. He built homes. He built small apartment buildings, big apartment buildings. And growing up, nothing ever seemed to break in our house. And now I'm realizing he just took care of it. If it broke, I never was aware of it. It just got done. It got fixed right away. I think that a lot of Al comes out of my dad, which is, at some point we all kind of become our parents or our dad and say things and go, oh my God, I can't believe that sounds just like my dad.
For better or worse. And the older we get, the more frequent it happens.
Yeah.
Classic line, I don't think so, Tim. I mean, it's become so iconic. And I mean, I'm sure you hear it a gazillion times and everyone, talks to you and everything else. But were you ever afraid that Al Borland might pigeonhole you in as sort of a Gilligan character?
Well, I wasn't necessarily. I mean, my early years, I mean, I was 35 when Home Improvement started. So I had, 15 good years in New York.
You're on stage.
Theater and doing different characters. So it never felt like I was that, but kind of sometimes forget about it until people, will come up to me or something happens and I go, oh yeah, that's right. I am that. I did that guy. And, when you're in your own little kind of home bubble and around people that have known you for years and years, I don't go out and seek that. But all of a sudden, if I go out of town, it's just there. So
I get that. You talked about your start on stage in New York. You obviously we did television. You've done game shows. Which did any one of them give you more enjoyment?
They all had their own, great thing about them. And I think, you need to find that in life. Whatever it is, you got to find the joy in whatever you're doing or whatever you're going after. I mean, I didn't want to be a game show host at first. I kind of turned it down. And then, once I decided to do it, I embraced it. It was fun. It was improv theater, basically. I feel like it was the only game show where it left it open for, really true improv moments in the moment. People would respond to something and then you could respond right back, where a lot of game shows don't.
You've got to be on your toes, I'm sure.
You do. And you don't know whether you can do that or not until you're doing it. You can't, it's not like you can plan for it or you can't write stuff because you don't know what people are going to say. And otherwise it just sounds kind of, plugged in there.
Well, I tell you, I'm sure it's been asked a zillion times. I know there's been some rumors and not here. So here's 1,000,001, but is there any chance for a Home Improvement reboot?
Well,
shifting gears doesn't count.
They sure, advertised Shifting Gears as the Home Improvement reunion. And I got a lot of people asking me, well, is the show coming back? Are we going to do that? Funny story about that. Bob Iger, when he came back a few years ago to take over again, he brings Tim into his office. He goes, hey, Tim, I think maybe it's time to do a reboot to re-examine Home Improvement so many years later. And Tim looked at him and goes, well, had you talked to your lawyers? And Bob goes, no. He goes, well, talk to your lawyers and get back to me. And a week later, he gets a phone call from Bob and goes, okay, I guess we can't do that. It comes down to money, but, they don't want to set precedents and things like that.
Well, that's not it's a great legacy to leave behind.
Yeah. Don't mess with it. Don't meddle with it. I think we've done a little bit. Tim and I did a show for the History Channel called Assembly Required, and that was kind of fun, kind of a breath of fresh air that he and I got to work together and do that.
You've been here in Annapolis several times now. Do you have any favorite things to do when you're not at the home show? Any places to visit or eat that you like?
Well, it's such a pretty town. Yeah, and walking around and the restaurants are great. The people are really, really nice. There's always some kind of a party going on because it's kind of a college town. Cousin lives close. I mean, it's a couple of hours away, but he's close, and so I can see some family when I go back east. And I don't know. I like visiting different towns.
Very cool. Well, Richard Karn is going to be at the Home Owners Expo in Annapolis on February 21st and 22nd. Richard is only going to be on the 21st, but that's going to be at the Byzantium Center on Riva Road. And you can get your tickets at thehomeownersexpo.com, but you can turn around and wear flannel and get in for free. And when you do, you can come say hi-de-ho neighbor, catch his talk, make sure your flannel game is strong, and take a picture and get an autograph or something like that.
They've made some really nice flannel. And when I go back east and it's cold, I'm even using my flannel jeans.
The flannel line jeans are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, again, the website is thehomeownersexpo.com, and that's not to be confused with the homeownersexpo.com. That was a poor choice on Scott's to come up with that domain, but it's fine. They're spelled the same way, and they both go to the same place to get your tickets. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 21st, and I apologize for the technical difficulties here, but I can't wait to see you at the Home Owners Expo, and thanks so much for your time, Richard.
All right. Well, maybe you should check out the electronics show in Vegas. You might be able to upgrade your equipment.
Son of a gun, that thing just ended. Isn't that the way life is?
Yeah, it is. All right. I'll see you there.
All righty. Thanks so much.
Okay.
This has been a bonus podcast from Eye on Annapolis. Please visit us at eyeonannapolis.net. Follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. And if you haven't subscribed to the Daily News Brief podcast, go for it. And all of your local news will be delivered to your phone, tablet, or smart device by 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday.